For centuries, man has pondered some of life's greatest questions, such as what is the meaning of life? What came first, the chicken or the egg? What are we meant to do here on Earth? And what do I think of Death Note's ending? Well, this is where I come in because Death Note is one of my favorite animes that I have ever experienced, and a lot of people agree with me because, according to Mal, it is the most popular anime of all time. And even though so many people like it, there is one part aside from the whole entire Yotsuba arc that not that many people like, and it is the ending. Too many people see it as sloppy, bad, and overall just not good. So I decided to finally throw my hat into the ring when it comes to Death Note and especially that ending. But before I get into it, yes, there will be spoilers, so unless you're caught up or don't care about spoilers, then go ahead and watch. But if you aren't and you do care, then go ahead and watch Death Note. It's not that long. It's like 25 episodes long, I think, or maybe even longer, but it's not that long. And, watch it, come back here because we are definitely going to be entering spoiler territory from here on out. So, for those of you who are uninitiated, the story of Death Note is about a guy, a young, bright student named Light Yagami, and he is one of the smartest students, if not the smartest student within his school, who is essentially bored with life until one day, out of the blue, out of the sky, a magical notebook falls from the ground. And this notebook can kill anyone whose name you write into it. And after Light picks it up, he decides he is going to rid the world of evil by killing criminals and getting rid of crime altogether. But of course, the world's best detective, named only by the letter L, is there to try and stop Light, who is also named Kira, because of all the killings that he's done. It's more of like a fan name that was created for him online, as they embody a cat and mouse chase between one another to try and stop the other and bring him to justice. So one of the big complaints about the ending was that Death Note should have actually ended a lot sooner, should have ended with Light killing L, and ironically handing him his very first L. And as people say that, that the series should have ended at that exact same moment in time, and sure, look, that's one hell of a way to end the series, with a murderous psychopath standing on top of the world and essentially judging who lives and who dies. That's like if Hitler won World War II, or if Darth Vader beat Luke Skywalker. But here's the thing about life, and it's the fact that there's always a struggle that's going on, especially if you are in a position of power. There is always going to be a force that's coming after you, whether it is something that is good or bad. And to think that Light would remain unchallenged is something that's not realistic. So there was always going to be someone or something that would continue to come after Light even when he killed L. In the first half of the show, we see Light as this kid transform into this god of the new world, slowly and surely outfoxing everyone and his rise to the top. Here's the thing about being on top of the world. Once you reach the top and the pinnacle of whatever it is that you are trying to do, it will not be smooth sailing ahead. And Light, for the second half of the series, has to fight to stay on top. He has to fight to continue to bring criminals down. He has to fight to make sure that this world becomes a better place. So these later episodes are showing him trying to maintain his status as god of the new world. Now, I will say this, that it generally does feel different after L's death, only because L and Light have such an amazing dynamic with each other, with each character essentially deceiving one another and trying to bring the other to justice. Like in the tennis match between Light and L, where Light constantly is questioning about whether he should win or not. And whenever Light asks a question, he always makes sure to, pick his questions carefully, as they could potentially lead to his downfall. And while all of that still persists with Mello and Nier, the methodical thinking, once they enter the picture, it does feel off, and it does not feel the same as the relationship that Light and L had with each other. So I will agree with y'all there. And although Light's his motivation might be noble to some people, he is at his core an evil person. He constantly abuses and takes advantage of Misa, a girl who, yes, she did say that she wanted to be with him, and she did say that she said that Light could use her no matter what. She just wanted to pay gratitude, yes, but that doesn't mean she deserves the treatment that he constantly gives her. At one point, when his sister gets kidnapped, he even thinks that he might even have to kill his sister just to protect the Death Note. The Death Note is what is making him a god amongst men, and not to mention, he doesn't feel any sort of remorse at any point in his time with the Death Note. He never thinks, whoa, to himself, whoa, maybe what I'm doing is wrong. Whoa, maybe this is not the best way to, eradicate crime. No, he continues to do it over and over again without even so much of a second thought. Not to mention, what if some of these criminals that he has, been killing, there's a good chance that some of them have been wrongly convicted. That wrongful convictions happen all the time around the world. And he never once thinks, oh, maybe I killed someone innocent. No, to him, criminals are evil. All of them are evil, no matter who they are. And look, some criminals, they make mistakes. We all make mistakes in life. And some of them probably, they made some mistakes in their life. But that doesn't mean that they should die over it. That just shows how evil Light really is. He judges them based on just pure speculation. Oh, they're guilty, so that means they deserve to die. And here's the thing about that specific kind of evil. It's that no matter where it is in the world, when there is evil like that, there is always going to be someone out there who is going to be willing to fight it. Plus, if Light was on top of the world, he really was the god of the new world, and he had no one to challenge him, then the story would just be plain boring. Now, what would you rather see? Light constantly winning over and over again with no real challenge, or would you rather see someone rising up and trying to beat him once and for all? Another big complaint is that Nier is basically God. And when I mean he's God, I basically mean that he knows everything. And you know what? I will agree with you on that. Shocking, I know it is to agree, but Nier is a very interesting character, and although it has been stated that he is not as smart as L, and, that he might be a little bit boring, he's a little bit robotic. I see it as him being calculating and weighing his options very much so like L would whenever exploring a lead on a case. And it's very much so stated that L is the only person that he has ever respected, so it wouldn't be too hard to assume that he would try to emulate him in one way or another. People have also stated that it seems a little ridiculous that there's a special school set up to train L's next successor, but my answer to that is that this is fucking anime. There are multiple universes where a guy can carry a sword that's twice his size, where a magical notebook can kill someone after you write their name in it, and where magical monsters exist, and you can capture them using these tiny little balls called Pokeballs. So, anime is not the best representation of things that are totally realistic. Like I said, I agree with you when it comes to Nier being a little bit too OP, but don't you think it's at all possible that he has this kind of knowledge to compete with Light? I mean, this school has been set up so they can find the next successor to L, but despite the fact that he is incredibly intelligent, Nier knew that if he was going to catch Light, he would need some sort of help. And sometimes in life, there are things that we cannot handle by ourselves, and a smart person knows when to reach out for help as opposed to an ignorant person who is stuck in their own ways. Nier might know all the answers, and he might be a bit OP, but I believe him, because sometimes the smartest person doesn't rush in headfirst like Mello, or take extreme measures like L, but sometimes it's all about how you think things through, calculating every risk, every reward, the backlash that you could face, and whether or not it will lead to the truth. And that's why I believe in Nier, because he holds all of those qualities about him. Another point of criticism is that people feel as though Light's final move and how he got caught was just plain stupid. And yes, he was stupid, but it wasn't because he was randomly written that way. It was because at this point in the story, Light has gotten so powerful and so egotistical that he feels as though he literally is God. I mean, every battle that he has faced, he has won. L got in his way and he won. Light fought crime and he won. When someone wins over and over and over again, you can see how they might think of themselves as above everyone else, with everything that they do as being great or near on untouchable. And that was Light's big mistake. He believed that he was so untouchable that he couldn't be beat, and that no matter what he did, no matter what it was that he ended up doing, that he could always be able to rise above any challenge that was thrown his way. The moment anyone has that kind of mentality about themselves is the moment that they are screwed, because mistakes are bound to be made with that mindset. Looking back on what we've talked about so far, it's safe to say that there is some fair criticism that is lobbed at the ending of Death Note. But personally, I still enjoy the second half of the series, and sure, it's not as good as the first half, but that's not to say that there isn't anything worth watching in the second half. For instance, I like seeing Light's downfall because it shows that good will always triumph over evil in the end. And I actually liked the manga ending better just because Light had always treated Ryuk a little bit badly and was always sort of a dick to him. And in his final moments, he asks and he pleads, with Ryuk to write their names in the Death Note. And Ryuk says, okay, I'll write their name. I'll write the name in the Death Note. And so everyone's freaking out and they're trying to shoot him, but it's not working because they can't do it, And then all of a sudden he reveals the name that he wrote was Light's. I thought it came full circle. It was so beautiful. And I especially liked how Light was begging. A few moments ago, he thought he was on top of the world, and now he is begging for his life, and he does not want to die. I like Near and Mello as they finish, what exactly L started. And I like how the story ends. Throughout the series, both Light and L have this sense within them that justice will prevail, no matter what. And although L lost the battle, he did not lose the war, as he had two capable soldiers that he knew would carry on the fight for him. Everyone says that the Death Note ending is horrible, but in reality, it's really not that bad. I really don't see how else the story could have ended. I just think that people might have gotten a little too attached to Light, and maybe they just really wanted to see him win. I mean, at the root of the core of this story is one of good versus evil. It is one that we have heard time and time again, with the elements just being different. And it shouldn't shock us when good triumphs over evil, because 99% of the time it always will. And maybe people were tired of that same old narrative, and maybe they wanted something different. Maybe they truly wanted to see the god of the new world. Well, that's been it for this episode of Excellent Anime Reviews. I wanted to talk about Death Note, as it is one of my favorite animes of all time, my second favorite actually. And it's still something that I still thoroughly enjoy, and time again I will find myself rewatching this series because I still find it incredibly enjoyable even years after, it originally aired. So do me a favor, guys, let me know what y'all think about Death Note, especially the ending, in the comments section below. Make sure you guys hit that like, share, and subscribe button. I've been Samuel V, aka Excellent Anime Reviews, and I will see you all as soon as I can.